A very good evening and warm welcome to Dharma Television's Collective News. This is Srishti Khadki. Let's move on to today's top stories. Nepal Congress has staged protests in wards across the country against dissolution of House of Representatives. The vaccine against coronavirus has arrived in Kathmandu from Government of India. Dave Whatmore, the head coach of Nepali national cricket team, said his focus will be on improving the rankings of Nepali team. The price of gold has increased in the local market today as well. Another 336 corona cases confirmed in Nepal today. Here we go for news in detail. After the dissolvement of the House of Representatives by Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, the Nepali Congress has staged protests in wards across the country on Thursday. The Congress staged protests in wards across the country on Thursday as part of a pre-arranged agitation program against the dissolution of the parliament. The leaders had addressed the protest organized in 6,743 wards. Similarly, top leaders addressed the demonstration in Kathmandu. Meanwhile, at the protest organized by the Nepali Congress at Maitighar, Congress leader Prakash Man Singh said that the protest was staged as the Prime Minister had unilaterally dissolved the parliament, ignoring the constitution. He argued that the country was heading towards dictatorial rule and the elections had been declared unilaterally.
सबै नेताहरू र सहभागी हुनुभएका सबैलाई म चाहिँ यो कार्यक्रममा भएर सहयोग गर्नुभएका सम्पूर्ण 11 नम्बर वडाका वडावासी यो चाहिँ जुन नेपाल कम्युनिस्ट पार्टीको यो चाहिँ जुन सरकार जुन कि यो केपी ओलीजीले चाहिँ नेतृत्व गरिरहेको सरकारले संविधानलाई चाहिँ मिचेर जुन प्रतिनिधि सभा यो हाउसलाई चाहिँ जुन विघटन गरेको छ त्यो विघटन गरेको हामीहरूले नेपाली कांग्रेस पार्टीले केन्द्र कार्य समितिले छलफल गरेर यो चाहिँ असंवैधानिक कदम हो यो चाहिँ जुन हाउस विघटन गरेको यो चाहिँ अलोकतान्त्रिक कदम हो र बदनियतपूर्ण तवरले चाहिँ यो संविधानले अधिकारै नदिएको त्यो दुरुपयोग गरेर जुन प्रतिनिधि सभाको यो जुन कार्यवधि 5 वर्ष भनेर चाहिँ किटानी साथ संविधानले चाहिँ दिएको कुरालाई उहाँले चाहिँ आफ्नो पार्टीको कमी कमजोरी आफ्नो पार्टीको व्यवस्थापन गर्न नसकेको त्यो रिसलाई ल्याएर चाहिँ उहाँले चाहिँ संविधानले उहाँलाई चाहिँ दिँदै नदिएको अधिकार दुरुपयोग गरेर जुन संविधान यो चाहिँ प्रतिनिधि सभा भङ्ग गर्यो त्यसको विरुद्धमा यो चाहिँ गलत भयो यो चाहिँ असंवैधानिक भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि अब यसलाई चाहिँ फेरि संवैधानिक बाटोतिर चाहिँ लग्नको लागि यो चाहिँ हामीले देशव्यापी रूपमा आजको दिनमा यो 6743 वडा समितिहरूमा यो विरोध र्याली र सभाहरू हामीले चाहिँ गर्दै आइरहेका छौं। फेरि हुँदै नहुने चुनाव चाहिँ घोषणा गरेर जुन संविधानलाई मिचेर संविधानलाई एकातिर फालेर आफै नै संविधान हो भनेर चाहिँ जुन रूपमा चाहिँ गर्नुभएको छ यो चाहिँ उहाँले चाहिँ अब आफ्नो चरित्र के हो त भन्दाखेरि यो चाहिँ अब तानाशाहतिर.
Earlier, the Congress had protested against the move to dissolve the parliament in 165 constituencies on January 2nd, 330 constituencies on January 9, and 753 municipalities on January 19. The vaccine against coronavirus has arrived in Kathmandu today. India announced to grant 1 million doses of corona vaccine to Nepal on Wednesday. India has supplied Covishield vaccine to Nepal, developed by Oxford, AstraZeneca and produced by Serum Institute of India. According to Health Ministry, the vaccine against corona has arrived at Tribhuvan International Airport from an Air India flight today morning. At the airport, Indian ambassador to Nepal, Bini Mohan Quatra, will hand over the vaccine to the Ministry of Health. The vaccines will be stored at the Department of Health Services in Teku, Kathmandu. Vaccines will be sent from the Department of Health Services to the storage centers of each province.
I take this as the symbol of our friendship. Our friendship is, in fact, a unique one. Which reflected during the fight when all of us were fighting, and particularly we felt when we were fighting, Nepali people were fighting, Nepali government was fighting against the pandemic. And we worked together when the coronavirus appeared, and it appeared in the Southeast Asia as well. Since then, the time was very hard. It was an unknown disease. It was already new. Nobody was experienced. Nobody had any knowledge and know how to fight against it. We had to invent the methods and methodology of the fighting style, fighting method against this pandemic. Being a transmitted disease, we said that masks will be useful. Similarly, social distance will be useful if we maintain that. And remaining clean is another factor. Using hot water, etc. is another. And using our herbal medicine is fruitful. Yoga and other exercises are also instrumental and helpful to fight against this pandemic. In this entire duration, social life was disturbed. Industries and other things, tourism was disturbed, and economy was seriously damaged and disturbed. Even then, because of India's friendly attitude, our supply system was not disturbed. Our consuming goods, we had not to face any difficulty. Although sometimes during this period, some zigzag appeared between our two neighbors, because we are neighbors, so sometimes such things appear too. But it proves that we are able to resolve all these things, all these problems, if they appear too.
In the first phase, health workers, cleaners, security personnel, ambulance drivers, course management team, and others will be vaccinated from the designated vaccination centers as per the ministry.
Span of close to 1 year, and just not reduce it, but offer it for the services of the people in our neighborhood and also for the humanity at large. Excellency, you are aware that India-Nepal COVID cooperation, right from the outbreak of pandemic, has been consistent. Within 1 day of your own hospitalization for the surgery, you were present at the SARC summit for the on the COVID-19 pandemic that my Prime Minister had organized. Nepal had also made a very generous and significant contribution to the SARC COVID fund, whether it was the protective equipment, whether it was the ventilators, whether it was the PCR kits or the medicine. Our cooperation to fight this pandemic has been consistent and very, very substantive. To that cooperation, we can now add perhaps the conclusive element, which is vaccine Maitri, which is the gifting of 1 million doses of COVID vaccine to Nepal.
According to the head of vaccination branch of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Jhalak Sharma, vaccination against corona vaccine will be started in 10 to 15 days in Nepal. Dave Whatmore, the head coach of the Nepali national cricket team, has said that his focus will be on improving the rankings of the Nepali team. In an interaction with media personals in Kathmandu on Thursday, Whatmore said that his experience would be focused on the development of Nepali cricket and improving the rankings of the Nepali team. He says his main goal is to improve the ranking of ODI cricket. Whatmore argued that he is ready to accept all the challenges. He added that his sole goal is to make team win, not just to make the team play in his working period.
Here in Nepal, some of which I do know and quite a few I don't. But that won't take long. Once I'm working with some of these guys to understand certain principles that will need to happen to ensure that we have a very healthy environment within the group for performance. So with all my knowledge that I've accumulated over the years, will surely be shared with that express purpose, and that was to improve performance individually and from a team point of view. So it starts for me today, and the work will get more and more as we go along. And from time to time we look forward very much to working with you people as well, to ensure that you're kept in the loop, you know what we're doing, and with a bit of luck we'll support each other. To a ground, you're not seeing it for the first time. You see some familiar faces, and that's also a good thing. So it was really good to have a little bit of experience over. It was more than a few days. I think it was a week or so. That was really enjoyable, and now I have a chance, on a full-time basis to work with the boys, and to get that enjoyment and to see some results at the end of it. Time to time, for sure, and very recently. About nearly 12 months ago, you probably know, I had a small stint with Singapore in a T20 tournament on I think it was the eastern part of the Asia qualifiers, where we did well. And Nepal was also in that group, and our game, which was the last one, was washed out. So we didn't play each other, but we certainly was there for many hours on the day. It was good to reunite with some of the boys. But it really, was good to see them.
The Nepal Cricket Association had appointed Whatmore as the head coach for 1 year on December 20. CAN has appointed Whatmore as its head coach through open competition. Whatmore, the Sri Lankan-born Australian coach, helped Sri Lanka to win the World Cup in 1996. The price of gold has increased in the local market today as well. According to Nepalese gold and silver entrepreneurs, the price of gold has risen by Rs 600 per tola. Hallmark gold, which was traded at Rs 92,500 per tola on Wednesday, is being traded at Rs 93,100 per tola today. Similarly, price of silver has risen by Rs 15 per tola. Silver, which was traded at Rs 1,260 per tola on Wednesday, is being traded at Rs 1,275 today. Another 336 corona cases were confirmed in Nepal on Thursday. Along with this, the number of corona infected in Nepal has reached 268,646. Similarly, 4 more people have died due to corona infection today. According to Ministry of Health, 1,979 people have lost their lives due to corona infection in Nepal. While 226 more people were released from corona infection today, altogether 2,60,868 people have won corona in Nepal. At present, 3,799 people are in isolation and 172 in quarantine. So far, 2,031,756 PCR tests have been performed in Nepal. This is all for now. We'll be back with more news and updates. Till then, keep watching Dharma Television for peace, prosperity and enlightenment. May all the sentient beings be at peace. Stay safe.